Hello children, welcome to Minutes of Maths. In this video, I am going to teach you Class 8 Square and Square Roots. Square of a number. The square of a number is the product of the number with the number itself. For example, if we want to find out square of any number, we need to write that number and multiply that number with itself. Then we will get the square of the number. Here I have written, I am going to find out the square of 8. So that I have written 8 multiplied by 8, which is equivalent to 8 square. You know, if you use exponents and powers law, here powers are 1. If the base are same, we can add the powers. So, we will use the exponents and powers law. So, we will get 8 square, which is equivalent to 8 8s are 64. So, 64 is the square of a number, square of 8. This way we can find out square of a number. To multiply the number itself, we will get the square of number. Next is square root of a number. To finding the square root of a number, that is exactly reverse operation of square. Here you can see this square root is denoted by the symbol square root. This means square root means the whole power half. If we take a, that means root a, we can write a to the whole power half. So, root means the whole power half. Here, we need to find out the square root of 64. So that I have written here root 64. Root 64 we can write 64 the whole power half as well. So, what we have to do, we need to find out the square root. So, what we have to do, we can write 64 as 8 into 8. 8 8s are 64. The whole power half. We know 8 into 8 we can write 8 the whole power square, 8 square the whole power 2. Now we can cancel these two 2's and then we will get 8. So, root 64 is equivalent to root of 8 into 8. We need to take it out 1 8. If you want to find out the square root of the number, we need to take 1 8 from these two 8. This way, we will find out the square root in prime factorization method. So, root meaning is the whole power half. So that we have written 64 is equivalent to 8 into 8. 8 into 8 we know we can write as 8 square the whole power half, and then 2 into half. These two 2's gets cancelled and we will get 8. So that I have told this square root is the reverse operation of square of a number. That's it. Next we are going to see some properties of square numbers. Let's see. If you want to find out the square of any two number, that time we can split these two number like this, root a into root b. That means if you want to find out 64 multiplied by 81, you no need to multiply these two number and then find out the square root. Before itself you can write like this, root 64 into root 81. We know root 64, now only we have found it is square root of 64 is 8, and 81 we know 9 9s are 81, so we can write 9, which is equivalent to 72. So, the square root of 64 into 81 is equivalent to 72. This way we can split. If square root of a upon b, that one we can write like this, square root a upon root b. This way also you can write if they have given two number like this. Next we will move on to some properties of square numbers. Properties of square number. There are 5 properties. First one is, if the number ends with any one of this number, then we can say it may or may not be a perfect square number. For example, I will write here, we know already 64 is the square of 8. And we can take 225. 225 is the square of 15. 15 15s are 225. And 256. 256 is the square of 16. Square number of 16. And then we can take 100. We know 100 is the square of 10. Next is 81. 81 is the square of 9. Next is 169. 169 is the square of 13. 13 13s are 169. So you can see all the square numbers are ends with any one of this number only. Here I have written the numbers 1 to 10, and then here I have written the square of these all the numbers. You can see all the unit digits are ends with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6, 9. So that the number can be any digit. That means it can be 3-digit number, 4-digit number or 5-digit number. But the unit digit will be any one of this number only. That means 0 to 9 only. Got it? So if the number is 0 to, we know if we multiply 1 into 1, we will get 1. And 2 into 2, we will get 2. So if you multiply the unit digit, then you will get any one of this number. So that we have concluded that all the square numbers are ends with any one of this 6 number. But we can't say if the number is ends with any one of this number, it is a perfect square number. It may not be a perfect square number too, because here we will take one more example, 84. You can see 84 here. This number also ends with 4 only, but this is not a perfect square number. So that we have told all the square numbers will always ends with 0 to 9, any one of this number, but if the number ends with any one of this number, those number can't be a perfect square number. Got it? Second property is the square number never ends with any one of this number. Already we have concluded that the square numbers are ends with this number only, any one of this number. So we can say the square number never ends with 2, 3, 7 or 8. If they are giving any number like this 188, they are asking whether this is the square number or not. We can say this is not a square number by doing any calculation because the unit digit is 8. Here there is a property, square number never ends with 8, 7, 3, 2. So that we can say 188 is not a perfect square number. Third one is, a number ends in an odd number of zeros is never a perfect square number. That means the perfect square number will always ends with the even number of zeros. Already we have seen 100 is a perfect square number, but you can see 1000 is not a perfect square number because the number of zeros are odd number. So we can say if the even number of 0, then we can say that is a perfect square number. If it is a odd number of 0, then we can say it is not a perfect square number. So that The perfect square will always ends with the even number of 0, not odd number of zeros. Next is the square of an even number is even. That means if the number is even, then the square also even. We know 8 square will be 64. And 4 square will be 16. 2 square is 4. So, even number, the square of even number is always even and the square of odd number is always odd. You can check that. 3 square will be 9. 7 square is 49 and 5 square is 25. 9 square is 81. You can see all are odd numbers. So, the square of an even number is even and the square of an odd number is odd. Let's move on to next page. Now we are going to see some interesting patterns in square and square roots. If we add any two triangular numbers, that means any two consecutive triangular numbers, we will get the square number. First, we will see what is triangular number. Triangular number means the dot pattern of a triangular number can be arranged as triangles. That means 1 is a triangular number. We have to take like this because 1 is not a triangular number, but square also. If we take this is a 4 is a triangle square number, but before that we will take 1 is also a square number. Like that we have to take 1 is also a triangular number. Now we have to add one more number in the first row and then we have to put one more dot here. So there are 3 dots, so we have written 3 we can write in the triangular format. If you draw like this, you will get one triangle. In the same way, if you add one more dot here, you will get this triangle. In this triangle, there are 6 dots. So 6 is a triangular number and so on. 10 is a triangular number. 15 is a triangular number and so on. It is endless. So that these are the triangular numbers. If you add any two consecutive triangular numbers, that means successive triangular or consecutive triangular, anything which is. If you add these 1 plus 3, you will get 4. 4 is a square number of 2. If you add 3 and 6, you will get 9. 9 is the square of 3, square number of 3. If you take 6 into 6 plus 10, you will get 16. 16 is the square number of 4. Like that, if you add any two consecutive triangular number, you will get one square number. Let's move on to next pattern. Next pattern is numbers between square numbers. That means there are 2n non-perfect square numbers between squares of the numbers n and n plus 1. For example, if you want to find out the number between two successive square numbers. For example, I am taking here 2 square and 3 square. How many non-perfect square numbers are lies in between these two? There is a separate formula 2n. Here you need to take 2 is the n. Here, so that here this is n and this is n plus 1 is 3. So you need to take 2 is a 1. So you can apply the value of n. Our n is 2. You will get 4. So there are 4 non-perfect square in between 2 square and 3 square. Let's check. 2 square is 4 and 3 square is 9. Let's write 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 4 non-perfect square in between 2 successive perfect square. For that, the formula is 2n. 2n. You no need to find out the square of this number. If you see, we can find out like this also. We need to find out the square of these two number. First we have to find out 3 square 9 minus 2 square 4, which is equivalent to 5. Then you have to subtract one thing from here, then you will get 4. So instead of doing this much calculation, we can find out the number between any two successive square number by using this formula 2n. Here I have written 7 square minus 6 square. That means we are going to find out the numbers between 6 square and 7 square. So that I have written our n is 6. So 2 into 6 is equivalent to 12. There are 12 numbers. If you want to find out the number between 11 square and 12 square, our n is 11. So 2 into 11 is equivalent to 22. There are 22 numbers in between 11 square and 12 square. So n is the smallest number. This is n plus 1. Let's move on to next pattern. Third pattern is addition of odd numbers. You can write the square numbers in the addition of successive odd numbers. Here 1 plus 3 is equivalent to 4, which is equivalent to 2 square. So we can write here, you can see 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. That means there are 4 numbers. So 4 square is equivalent to 16. So if you want to find out the 6 square value, you can write 6 successive odd numbers, sum of 6 successive odd numbers plus 11. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this will be 36. You can check. So we can write the sum of first n odd natural number is n square. So that I have written here. Here first two natural odd natural number. So that 1 2 2 square. 1 2 3 4. So that 4 square. For example, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, we can write 1 2 3 4 5, which is 5 square, which is equivalent to 25. This way also we can write. Next is a sum of consecutive natural numbers. That means the square number of any odd number as the sum of two consecutive positive integers. That means if we want to find out the square of any two odd numbers, this is the odd number 3. 3 square will be 9, we know. We need to write 9 as a two consecutive odd number, sum of two consecutive odd number. There is a formula n square is equivalent to n square minus 1 upon 2 plus n square plus 1 upon 2. Now we are going to find out the 3 square. So 3 square, 3 is our n. So we need to substitute 3 value in the place of n. So 3 square minus 1 upon 2 plus 3 square plus 1 upon 2. 3 square will be 9 minus 1, 9 plus 1, and 9 minus 1 is 8, 8 upon 2 plus 9 plus 1 is 10 upon 2, which is equal to 8 upon 2 is 4, 10 upon 2 is 5. So 4 plus 5. So we can write the square of any odd number, we can write as the sum of two consecutive positive integer, two consecutive positive numbers. If you want to find out 5 square also you can write like this. To find out the two consecutive positive integer, you need to use this formula. For example, we have taken 5 here. So 5 square minus 1 upon 2 plus 5 square plus 1 upon 2, which is equivalent to 25 minus 1 upon 2 plus 25 plus 1 upon 2, which is equivalent to 24 upon 2 plus 20 6 upon 2. Now we can write 12 plus 13. So we have written 5 square in the form of the sum of 12 plus 3. In this way, we can find out two consecutive positive integer for the square of odd number. For that, we have to use this formula. Let's move on to next page. Pythagorean triplet. You have studied in the class 7 Pythagoras theorem. What is the Pythagoras theorem? We know Pythagoras theorem is we will use the right angled triangle in that theorem. Here AC is the hypotenuse, that is exactly opposite to the 90 degree. Angle 90 degree will be the hypotenuse. So the Pythagoras theorem is AC square plus AC square is equivalent to the sum of two perpendicular sides AB square plus BC square. In square and square root, we have taken three Pythagorean triplets. Those are the hypotenuse is m square plus 1 and m square minus 1, this one, and this is 2m. If these so Pythagoras triplet we can write like this: 2m square plus m square minus 1 is equivalent to m square plus 1. If any three number obeys the theorem of Pythagoras, then we can say those three numbers are Pythagorean triplet. Here I have taken one example, m is equivalent to, that means 2m is the one of the Pythagoras number. Here these are the numbers 2m, m square minus 1 and m square plus 1. Here I have taken m is equivalent to 2. So first triplet is, one of the triplet is 2m is equivalent to 4. So next we can say m square minus 1 is equivalent to, m is 2, so 2 square minus 1 is equivalent to 4 minus 1 is equivalent to 3. Next third number is m square plus 1. Our m is 2. M square is 2 into 2, 4. 4 plus 1 is equivalent to 5. Now we are going to check whether these three number 4, 3 and 5 obeys the Pythagoras theorem or not. Here 2m square plus m square minus 1. So 2m square is this one, 4 square, and 3m square is m square minus 1, which is equivalent to 5 square m square plus 1. We know 4 square is 16 and 3 square is 9, which is equivalent to 5 square is 25. If you add this two number, we will get 25. 25 is equivalent to 25. So these three numbers are obeys the Pythagoras theorem. Then we can say 3, 4, 5 is the required Pythagorean triplet. These are the Pythagorean triplet. This way we are going to find out if we know one number, we can find other two numbers by using this formula. Got it? To find out the square root of perfect square, there are three methods. One is repeated subtraction, next is prime factorization, and the third method is by long division method. This is the introduction class, so that I have taken small number to explain these methods. Let's explain one by one. First method is finding square root through repeated subtraction. Already we have seen the square number can be expressed in the form of the sum of successive odd numbers. Here 4 is a square number. We can write first odd number is 1 and second odd number is 3, which is 1 plus 3. So square number can be expressed in the form of successive odd numbers. One more thing we have seen in the first page. The square root is the reverse operation of square number. So that we can say the square root can be find out by subtracting the successive odd numbers. Here square can be expressed in the form of sum of successive odd numbers, and square root can be find out by subtracting the successive odd numbers from the square number. Here we need to find out the square root of 64. This we need to find out square root of 64. For that, what I did, you need to subtract successive odd numbers from 1 until to get 0. Remainder should be 0. So 64 minus 1 is equivalent to 63, and then write 63 here. Next odd number is 3. 63 minus 3 is equivalent to 60, and then write this 60 here. Next odd number is 5. So 60 minus 5 is 55. And then I have subtracted till 15. So here if you subtract 15, you will get 0. That means now you have to count how many odd numbers you have subtracted from 64. Here I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that we have subtracted 8 odd numbers from 64. So that we can write 8 is the square root of 64. We know 8 8s are 64. This way you can find out the square root by subtracting the successive odd numbers. Next we are going to see prime factorization method. For prime factorization, I have taken 144. We need to find out the square root of 144. In prime factorization, we need to find out the LCM of 144 first. Here I have find out the LCM. The numbers are 2, 2. There are 4 2's and 2 3. So we need to write in the form of prime numbers. 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 into 3. Then we need to find, this is not a square. We have to write like this. Otherwise, we have to write 144 is equivalent to 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. After writing the prime numbers, now you have to check the prime numbers, and then you have to group the prime numbers in one group. There should be two identical number. Here 2, there are 4 2's, so that I have grouped 2 group of 2 and 1 group of 3. From each group you need to take one number to find out the square root. Already I have explained in the first page. Square root means the whole power half, so that we are taking one number from each group. So this is the square root of 144, which is 12. 2 2's are 4 and 4 3's are 12. This way you need to find out. If you want to find out the square root of any number, you need to find out the LCM of those number, and then find out the prime factors of that number, and then group the numbers into two numbers, and then take one number from each group and then multiply the number. Then you will get the square root of given number. Finding square root by division method. We can say this is finding by long division method. Now we are going to find out the square root of 961. So that first you have to write like this 961. That means you need to write like this 961, and then write like this. Now first step to find out the square root in long division method, you need to group the numbers from left to right to two number. By grouping the number, we can estimate how many numbers will come in our square root. Here there are 2 bars. So our square root will be 2-digit number. Now we have to take the leftmost pair, leftmost group, that is 9. Here what you have to do, ourselves we need to keep the divisor and quotient. Both divisor and quotient should be same number. If you multiply these two number, you will get lesser than 9 or equal to 9. Here our number is 9, so we can take 3. 3 3s are 9. Then you need to subtract this. If you subtract, you will get 0, and then drop down the next pair, 61. After that, what you have to do, you have to add this quotient to this divisor, and then leave one space and write the sum here. If you add 3 and 3, you will get 6. Now one number we have found out. We know there are two number. Now we are going to find out the last digit. That means unit digit of the square root. To find out the unit digit of the square root, you need to check the unit digit of this number. Here 61 is there. When you will get 1, if you multiply 1 into 1, you will get 1, and 9 into 9, you will get 81. In these two cases, unit digit will be 1. So, the unit digit of the square root will be whether 1 or 9. If you take, so that means what? If 61 into 61, you will get 61. If you take 69 into 9, you will get the greater than 61. So 9 will not come here, only 1 will come. So that you need to take 1 here and here also. Now you have to multiply these two numbers, 61 into 1. If you multiply, you will get 61, and then you have to subtract these two numbers, you will get 0. So the square root of 961 is 31. This is number. To check our answer, we need to add this quotient with this divisor. If you get here we have got 62. If this number is twice of the square root, then our answer is right. You can see 62 is the twice of 31. Then our answer is right. If this number is not the twice of this number, then our answer is wrong. In this way, we can find out the square root of any number by using long division method. That's it. In the next class, we will solve exercise problems. Thank you.